Good evening, everyone, to the Town Council meeting Monday, August 10th, 2026, 7 p.m. here in the Robert G. McKinnon Council Chambers. Agenda item number 1, Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda item number 2, roll call.
Councillor Adams.
Present.
Councillor Kelly.
Present.
Councillor Daniel.
Present.
Councillor Grenier.
Present.
Councillor Klein.
Present.
Councillor Lazo.
Present.
Councillor Montigny.
Present.
Councillor Steves.
Present.
Councillor Provost.
Present.
Agenda item number 3, consider and accept the meeting minutes of July 27th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Amendments? All right, all those in favor? Opposed?
I'm unstained.
Okay, we have a 8-0-1. Councilor Provost will
Thank you.
abstain. Thank you. Agenda item number 4, subcommittee reports, DPW.
Mr. Chair, we met on the 6th. We have items 12, 23, 22, 23, 24, and 25 on the agenda tonight. I'm going to set up a next meeting for next week sometime. We already do have a citizen member proposal, and I'm going to start talking about the trenching bylaws, among other things. So,
Very well. Thank you, Councilor. Education and Human Services.
We met on August 6th, and agenda items number 11 and 15 were discussed and referred for tonight.
Thank you, Councilor. General Gov.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We met on August 5th, and there are items 9 and 19 tonight. on the
Thank you,
agenda.
sir. Plan and Development.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. We met on Thursday, July 30th, to discuss items 20 and 21, and we met again on Thursday, August 6th, and discussed item number 26, the moratorium question, and we have another meeting scheduled for this coming Thursday. Thank you.
Very well. Thank you. Protection of Persons and Property.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you, we met on August 6th, and agenda items number 10, 13, 14, 17, and 18 were discussed.
Thank you, sir. Agenda item number 5, Chairman's announcements. I just have a few. Met with Desi last week, along with Councilors Klein, Town Manager, Councilor Kelly, a couple school board members, Desi themselves, Juan, who is representing Desi, the receiver, and a few others. Nice, great conversation to have. Phase 3 of their plan is that the school board's plan has been approved by Desi with no amendments, so now they're diligently working on that. So I want to thank them for doing all the invites. We also had representative from Senator Fatman's office and Representative Marcy's as well. Town Takeover was last Friday. I'm not sure who all went, but there was a great showing. It was a great time had by all. Woosocks won. I think it was 5-4 at the end of the night. Fireworks were amazing, and then all of a sudden they cooled down, and we were smack dab in the middle of a thunderstorm that occurred obviously through Southbridge and then hit Worcester area. I want to welcome Sharon back. That was a quick vacation she took, so welcome back. We'd love to have you, and thank you so much for coming back.
Thank you, Dave.
Goals and objectives for the town manager. Obviously, I read the summary off last week. We are diligently working on that now as far as fiscal year 2027, and that will be coming out very, very soon. And for the town council to review, discuss, and then vote on for this fiscal year. I want to thank the DPW today. I know they had a lot of trees that had been down because of the storm, and they're still playing catch up all day long. So I want to thank them for their hard work. It was a better day than it was maybe Friday and Saturday or something like that, but it was maybe cooler, but it sure was a lot of work that they had. A lot of trees went down, a lot of limbs out there, so thank you for their time. Lastly, the boards and committees, volunteers, we're still looking for volunteers, just not for the subcommittees. I think we have a couple left that need to be filled for the subcommittees, but we're always looking for people to sit on boards and the committees within the town of Southbridge itself. So if you would like to spend some time and volunteer, understand about the municipality side of the house, and have great ideas, now is the time to volunteer. So I ask for your time to do that. Just put an interest form into the town manager's office from there.
Mr. Chair, may I ask, do we have a complete list of what the vacancies are now?
So we posted, thank you, Council, for the question. We did post, myself, town manager, and his staff provided it to myself and Councilor Klein. I believe we posted it on social media. We could always share that out there too again, if you'd like. It's probably not the most updated because it does take a time for us to vote on them and all that kind of stuff, but you know, it hits the needs that we need. So I can send that out.
Okay, please.
You, absolutely.
Thanks.
Agenda item number 6, town manager's announcements.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. First off, our road project's continuing. East Main Street is pretty much buttoned up. We're doing the reconciliation on that project. River Crane, construction continues on Phase 1. Hopefully that'll be wrapped up within the next couple weeks. And then Phase 2, we are still working with National Grid on a utility pole that needs to be addressed on the river edge. I believe Ludlow is also working on the downtown tip project, and as such, there'll be some coordination between those two projects as we await the utility company's removal of the pole. North Street is continuing on. We did go through the ADA sidewalk exercise, and that has, Mr. Partlow will be starting on that. He's going to start either Friday or this week, so we'll be working on the ADA ramps and get those installed. Some additional work needs to be completed on some of the side streets, and as well as the Crystal Street. We have reviewed with DPW and staff and Mr. Partlow. There was an on-site meeting last week with DPW director, 3 members of the staff at DPW operations, John Trahan, Glenn Ethia, Pete Provencha, Bob, Mike Partlow, Ms. Dean, myself. They did do a walk of the North Street project and reviewed the status of some items that are going to be completed, and we will hope to have that completed. We will have to come back to DPW or the subcommittee and town council on some issues on Crystal Street that will have to be resolved, but we'll have that at a later date. Regards to tonight, I know the chairman was there as well. Trinity Catholic Academy had their groundbreaking on a playground that they're putting in there. That's a great little spot that they're putting it on, not just for the school itself, but that piece of property. They're doing that in conjunction with Soper, Mr. Soper and his construction crew. So we look forward to that being completed. In regards to the Woo Sox game, I'd like to thank our staff, especially Katie, who put that together, all those people that attended. It was a great evening. I did not stay for the fireworks because I wanted to miss the storm. Upon arrival into the town of Southbridge, I did make it through Auburn and Charlton with some of the storm going through. But when I did arrive into Southbridge, I found that Main Street was pretty much dark up the corridor all the way to the hospital. I did stop at the fire station, spoke to the on-duty crew as well as Deputy Chief Hulick regarding that outage. It was a pretty substantial outage. I'd just like to thank all the fire crews, the chief, deputy chief, for all their work during that outage because they responded to a tremendous amount of calls during a short period of time because of that storm. I guess I wish I was in town because Chief Hulick said it was probably one of the most impressive light shows that he's seen relative to a storm. But to all those that worked out in the storm and then the follow-up cleanup, especially DPW, thank you for all your hard work. We also had the opportunity to attend the Cops and Kids program down at the field at Moore Street. Again, a lot of thanks to our recreation department, our police department, our community staff, the fact that we bring seniors and the senior citizens as well as the youth together on the last night for a cookout. I think that's a great opportunity, one that I will be stating to. I have the opportunity in the fall, in October, to address the Massachusetts Council of Agents, who are having a conference here in Southbridge. They've asked me to be a speaker on the date of the event. And that will be one of the things that I will bring forward as part of the town as to our networking with all our seniors and the different programs that we put in place, such as our assistance to senior tenants. If anybody else has anything else they'd like me to put into that keynote kind of speech, I will definitely put that in. But that will be on, I believe, October 5th at the Wellsworth. So we look forward to having them in there for that. Regards to the fire station building project continues to move towards completion. We're approximately 85 to 87% completed. We have some things to work through, but that project is going pretty well. The meeting with the school department, as the chairman stated, was a great meeting. We did have a lot of dialogue. We did speak to the feasibility study and next steps with any school building plan and building projects. And we'll be working towards announcing the need for some members to put in their letter of interest into joining a school building committee. That will be sent to my office. We already have 2 positions filled, one from the school committee, as well as another position, but we're looking forward to 5 other individuals to join that committee, as well as a town hall building committee. Today we met with school financial staff, and I think it's a great dialogue that we have built over the last 2 years. They have transitioned to have an in-house finance team. They no longer use the outside consultant, so everything is in-house. It's the next step towards their plan. I believe that the great dialogue that we have today, when we had the human resources director as well as the finance business manager there and my staff, the superintendent couldn't make it due to scheduling with new teachers, but the fact that we had a great conversation about how we're going to do things in 2027 as opposed to trying to figure out how we're going to close out the end of the year just goes to that ongoing development of both our side and their side when it comes to the finance and the plans going forward. With that, summer's coming to an end. School will be opening on August 24th. So our meeting's the night of August 24th. So to everyone out there, know that school's opening August 24th. So please take note that there'll be buses on the streets. It's a much earlier opening than normal. So kids will be out in the streets, school buses. So I really wish all the students and staff a great final 2 weeks and the start of a new exciting school year. And I know I will be at the convocation on Friday for new teachers and staff that will be coming into town. And finally, we had an open meeting and public records law training that we had anticipated to have next week. However, due to some scheduling, that has now been scheduled for Thursday, September 17th. We will be setting up 2 sessions. One session will be for staff here, and I am considering closing the town hall for possibly 2 hours so that all staff can attend and be present for that training. And then later in the evening will be for boards and commissions. The 2 areas that we will cover is the open meeting law, and topics will include notices of meetings, posting of meetings, conducting the meetings, including public comment periods and other public participation, the taking and maintaining of minutes, email, and social media. We'll also be discussing public records law, about what types of records are considered public records, exemptions to those records, again, email and social media. So we're going to strongly encourage, and we will send this out to all public bodies and for staff, that if you assist with scheduling, posting notices and agendas for meetings, or if you prepare any of those materials, that they will be asked to attend. My staff, it will be mandated. As far as other boards and commissions, I cannot mandate that, but I will strongly request that they attend. They will also be conducting and addressing the conduct of meetings relative to the Supreme Judicial Court's holding in Barron versus Calenda, the so-called right to be rude or anti-civility case. So I think it's going to be a great training topic, and we will set up those times. But for boards and commissions, that will be in the evening, probably around 6 o'clock, so that boards and commissions can attend. So we will not, I will tell the town clerk not to schedule any public meetings for that night, so that all boards and commissions can attend. So with that, that's all I have for this evening. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Agenda item number 7, presentation. We do not have any presentations tonight. Number 8, citizens forum. If there's anything that you wish to speak upon that is not on the agenda this evening, just state your name and your address and come on up. I do know, and I'll just add, because we do have the agenda item for the moratorium. If it's about the moratorium, please wait until the agenda item is discussed in first and second, please. That's all I'm asking you to do tonight. But if anybody else has anything that they would like to come up to the podium and say this evening, please do. All right. Okay. Waiting for the third wheel to fall off here. We're good. All right. All right. Number 9, vote to confirm the town manager's appointment of Gene Trethway to the Liquor Licensing Board effective July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2028, pending completion of state ethics. Need a motion to second.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Very well. Mr. Town Manager. Oh, actually, it went through General Gov.
Yeah,
Thank
this
you,
was recommended.
Councilman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's
Thank you.
recommended unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Town Manager?
Just that I thank Gene for stepping up. I have interviewed 2 individuals for the 1 active position, and we still do have the alternate position, but at this time, my recommendation is Mr. Trethewey for the Liquor Licensing Board.
Very well. Any other discussion on this agenda item? Thank you, Gene, for volunteering. Once again, I appreciate your time and effort and all those that volunteer. Mr. Trethewey, you got anything to say? At least 10 minutes? All right, very well. All those in favor? Not,
Abstain.
very well. It's 8-0-1. Councilor Lazo abstains. Congratulations, Gene. Number 10, vote to confirm the town manager's appointment of Patrick Normandin of Southbridge, Massachusetts as a full-time firefighter for the town of Southbridge based upon the deputy fire chief's recommendation, effective immediately and upon completion of all rehiring documentation.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Town Manager? Oh,
PPP.
actually, this went through Councilor Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. This matter was taken up at the August 6 PPP meeting and unanimously recommended.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Town Manager?
Thank you. Through you, first is public disclosure. The appointment this evening states based on the deputy fire chief's recommendation. This is because Patrick is the son of the chief. Patrick, again, is coming back to the Southbridge Fire Department, and we have done all the appropriate relative to any state ethics or anything of that matter, but in transparency, and according to a long-standing tradition that I have had with the chief relative to anything dealing with Mr. Patrick Normandin, he has recused himself. So I welcome this candidate to rejoin the Southbridge Fire Department. I'll let the deputy chief talk to his qualifications, and then we'll just have some final comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Town Manager. Deputy?
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chairman. So we had an opening based on a vacancy back in May. We had decided to hold off on posting at that time because there were some other communities that were looking to actually lay off some staff, and we were hoping that we would be able to get somebody that was trained from one of those communities. So we posted again this summer as a until filled posting, and we received a total of 41 applications. I was contacted by both the town manager and Patrick, indicating his desire to come back to the community. We sent Patrick to the Career Recruit Fire Academy. He is a trained and experienced paramedic. We had him in a leadership role before he sought some other opportunities, and he is looking to come back. He is college educated with an associate's degree in fire science. He holds officer certification at multiple levels through the Mass Fire Academy, and there is no one else out of the applications that we received that is more qualified for the position. He lives just across the line. He's familiar with our operation, and he's looking to come back, and we welcome that.
Thank you, Deputy. Appreciate that. Any other discussion?
If I could.
Yes.
Just as a follow-up. Thank you. Through you, as you can see, the fire department is very busy, and they are departing for a call right now. The ones that were here on duty that are here to support Patrick. As the deputy chief stated, this position was actually vacated by firefighter Normandin. In May, he decided to go to a neighboring community, found that he desired to come back to the fire department that he has served with distinction. Very happy, grateful. Patrick and I were going to conduct an exit interview when he left. Unfortunately, his last shift, I believe they had about 22 calls in a 24-hour period, including a major fire on Twinehurst Place, I believe, correct? And another fire later in the evening. So it was a very busy day, and we were just never had the opportunity to connect afterwards. So when Patrick reached out to me and expressed his desire, we had a very good conversation about the reason why he departed. It was for a position that he thought might be a fit for him, separate from just being his normal firefighting duties. He expressed that desire to come back. We had a great conversation. As the fire department and as we rebuild the Southbridge Fire Department with the amount of new individuals that we have, I think it's a great opportunity to take a experienced firefighter paramedic that knows our community, has served our community well, to be a mentor to those new firefighters and paramedics as we train them on the streets of Southbridge. So with this, we get a firefighter that we trained and spent good resources, great resources on, one that's an experienced paramedic, and one that loves teaching through his safe environment and all that. So it is with great honor and privilege that I recommended this appointment for Patrick to rejoin, and wish him, as he stays in the Southbridge Fire Department and retires 20, 30 years from now. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Town Manager. Any other discussion? Councilor Montigny.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's a lot to say about Patrick Normandin, but you know, everybody talks about the different generations here with firefighters, and under the age of 50, I've never met a firefighter, EMT, as good as Patrick Normandin. He's easily the best and most qualified in our department upon hire. I can't thank you enough for coming back. You're going to make a great chief somewhere someday, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Lazo.
Just a quick comment. Pat Normandin is not only qualified with his education and all of his qualifications. I happened to see him in action. The man is fearless. He's solid. He's a throwback firefighter is what I call him, because there was a thing called a bulldog firefighter back in the day. This was prior to Scott Air Packs and all of this. This gentleman here, with his education and his intestinal fortitude, is one of the top guns in our firehouse. I welcome you back, Pat. Don't ever leave again.
Anything else?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Pat, welcome back. Happy to have you back. I see that you brought along possibly a replacement for you 20 years down the road, but we're looking forward to having you back. I know your brothers and sisters over there are too as well, so thanks for coming back. You have anything to say?
First off, 3 months ago, somebody had said I'd be standing here thanking all of you. I told them they're crazy. So thank you very much, all the councilors, subcommittee, Mr. Chair, Mr. Town Manager, for this support. This is not an easy decision to leave. I'm happy to be back. Mulled this over very much with my family members. As you can see, my son's making a lot of noise back there in the middle of the meeting. So thank you for this opportunity. Ready to hit the ground running.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? 9-0. Welcome back.
Did you vote when we started there, Jack? Huh? Did you vote when we started?
Number 11, vote to confirm the town council appointment Mrs. Angela Garvin as a citizen member to the EHS subcommittee effective immediately through June 30th, 2027, pending completion of state ethics.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. This with Councilor Klein, EHS.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you, this was recommended unanimously.
Very well. Any other discussion? Sorry, you can't hear me? Oh.
Angela's here tonight.
Oh. Would you like to come up here and say a few words, or you're good back there? No, you're all set back there? All right. Congratulations. Any other discussion? All those in favor? 9-0. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you for serving.
Thank you for coming forward.
Number 12, vote to confirm the town council appointment of Stephen Lazo as a citizen member to the DPW subcommittee effective immediately through June 30th, 2027, pending completion of state ethics.
So moved.
Thank you. DPW?
Yeah, we did discuss it, and we recommended it unanimously. Steve's been a DPW citizen member for many years now. He was on it back when I was on the council originally.
He's that old.
He's been around for a while.
So, any other discussion? All those in favor? 9-0. Congratulations. Welcome back, Steve. 13, vote to accept donation amount of $500 from the Southbridge Improved Order of the Redmond to the Southbridge Fire Department. Allow the town manager to sign all related paperwork.
So move.
Second.
Very well, this went through Councilor Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. This matter was taken up on 8/6 and unanimously recommended.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Town Manager, anything from you at all? We're all set?
Yep.
Any discussion? All's in favor? 9-0. Thank you so much for your donation. Number 14, vote to accept donation in the amount of $500, Mr. Albert Latini, to the Southbridge Fire Department. Allow the town manager to sign all related paperwork.
So move.
Councilor Kelly?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. This was again taken up at the PPP meeting on 8/6 and was unanimously recommended.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor? 9-0. Number 15, vote to approve the proposal for the senior exercise program from Jennifer A. Reynolds for the town of Southbridge at the Casabon Senior Center. Allow town managers to sign all related documents.
So move.
Second.
Very well. I went through HS.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. This was recommended unanimously on the August 6th meeting.
Thank you, Councilor. Any discussion on this? All those in favor? 9-0. Thank you. 16, vote to approve the DPW sewer transfer request of $7,000 from account number 600-440-583-000-89500 sewer reserve to account 600-440-521100 natural gas to fund the line item for the costs for fiscal year 27 that were not known at the time of the budget adoption.
So move.
Second.
Very well, thank you. This went through DPW.
We recommended it unanimously. This is kind of the follow-up to the thing that we did a couple of weeks ago, where they had to take extra money to pay off the old bills. So now this is basically refunding the line item so we can pay the rest of this year's bills.
Very well. Any other discussion on it? Thank you, Councilor. Any other discussion on that? All's in favor? 9-0. Number 17, vote to approve payment of prior fiscal year 2026 town of Southbridge invoices in the amount of $1,200 for paramedic intercept from the fiscal year 2027 ambulance billing services account number 003-135-589900-8121. A two-thirds
So move.
vote is required.
Second.
Got a first, second. This went through Councilor Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. This was unanimously recommended by PPP. My understanding of the issue is that these bills came in very close to the end of the fiscal year, which is the reason why we're being asked to pay for them now.
Thank you. I know the chief gave a great explanation at the subcommittee, and I think we had 3 bills for $400 each. It was just late coming to the town itself. This is a roll call vote? Yeah, okay. Two-thirds. Any other discussion on this at all? Very well, roll call?
Thank you. Councilor Adams.
Yes.
Councilor Daniel.
Yes.
Councilor Kelly.
Yes.
Councilor Klein.
Yes?
Councilor Grenier.
Yes.
Councilor Lazo.
Yes.
Councilor Montigny.
Yes.
Councilor Steves.
Yes.
And Councilor Provost.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. 18, vote to approve the contract between the town of Southbridge and Sid's Auto Body for the towing and storage of motor vehicles on an as-needed basis effective August 11, 2026 through June 30, 2029, unless terminated early in accordance with the terms of the contract. Allow town manager to sign all related documents.
So move.
Second.
Thank you. This went through PPP.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you, this was unanimously recommended by PPP on 8/6.
Thank you. Councilor, any discussion on this? All those in favor? 9-0. 19, vote to approve the agreement between the town of Southbridge and the Edward J. Collins Jr. Center for Public Management, University of Massachusetts, Boston, for recruitment services for the treasurer/collector's position, amount not to exceed $10,000. Allow town manager to sign all related documents.
So move.
Second.
Thank you. Councilor Montigny.
Yes, this was recommended unanimously at subcommittee.
Very well. Any other discussion on that? All those in favor? 9-0. 20, vote to approve applying for the New England Heat Pump Accelerator grant for up to $500,000 with no financial contribution from the town. Allow the town manager to sign all related documents.
So moved.
Second.
And this went through P&D.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. This was voted to move forward unanimously.
Very well, thank you. Any other discussion? Councilor Steves.
Mr. Chairman, through you to Councilor Daniel, could you just quickly summarize what this grant is for? Because I wasn't able to make that meeting.
I can't hear you.
I didn't catch that part of that. I didn't catch that meeting. So could you explain what this grant is for?
You want to explain it?
Could you explain what this grant is for?
Yeah, hey,
you're
I'll
into
read
the
off the
mic.
memo. The memo is exactly what it states. So, the Department of Economic Development and Planning has collaborated with the Inspection Service to develop an outreach and educational opportunity. Building inspectors will identify homes that are primed for HVAC electrification based on weatherization and solar permits, as well as the residents' existing HVAC system. Interested residents may apply for the incentives for heat pump costs from the town funded by NEHPA. Town staff can borrow processes and the strategies from CDBG Housing Rehab Program. If awarded, all associated costs or salary costs can be paid by the grant, and the grant funding will span between 12 to 24 months. I believe Kate's here too. Is that yours? Yeah. Does that answer your question, Councilor?
Yes, thank you.
Very well. Anything else? All those in favor? 9-0. 21, vote to approve entering into a memorandum of understanding with the Homeworks Energy to act as a home performance contractor to support and enhance the town's promotion of mass save benefits for residents in 1 to 4 unit housing with no financial relationship with the town and Homeworks Energy. Allow the town manager to sign all related paperwork.
So moved. Second.
Well, this went through P&D.
Yes, it did, and it came forward unanimously.
Any other discussion on that? All those in favor? 9-0. 22, vote to approve amendment number 1 to the agreement for operations, maintenance, and management services for the Southbridge water system between the town of Southbridge and Whitewater Incorporated, dated August 16, 2020, for an additional term of 5 years. Allow the town manager to sign all related documents.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. This went through DPW. Councilor Steves.
Yes, it did. Thank you. We recommended it unanimously. Just a quick summary. It increases the annual fee to $1.7 million a year. This is extending through August of 2031. It's already part of a 20-year deal, but it's set up so that we basically renew it every 5 years. They're adding about a 5% administration fee to their chemical costs because they generally buy them. And some of this other stuff that as it is now, it costs about $100,000 to $115,000 a year for the chemicals to treat the water. And the fee adjustment is a base cost plus 2 to 5% of CPI based on Boston. And there's a bunch of other talk about the prevailing wages and how people have to go when they go get calls to go service things, how they pay out on prevailing wages versus other things. So I'm not going to get into the real details because it's very long. It's very long.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other discussion on this? All those in favor? 9-0. 23, vote to approve the entering into a contract with Peterson Oil Incorporated as the lowest responsible and responsive bidder from the Central Massachusetts Regional Planning Commission, or CMRPC, invitation for the bids for unleaded gasoline for fiscal year 2027. Allow town manager to sign all related documents.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Very well. This went through DPW.
Yeah, we recommend that unanimously too. We got 2 bids on this. Peterson Oil came in as 79 cents markup, and Dennis Burke came in as 124 markup. And as of, I just looked on the web a minute ago, the state average at the moment is $4.04 a gallon. So we're talking about that much on top of what the current, whatever the price is at the time we buy it. So.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other discussion on this agenda item? All those in favor? 9-0. 24, vote to approve entering into the contract with Peterson Oil Service Incorporated as the lowest responsible and responsive bidder from Central Massachusetts Regional Planning Commission, or CMRPC, invitation for bids for diesel fuel for fiscal year 27. Allow town manager to sign all related documents.
So moved.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Thank you, the DPW.
Yeah, we also recommended that unanimously. We got 3 bids on this one. Peterson, again, is 79 cents markup. Fredicelli was $1 markup, and Burke Oil was $1.14. And Peterson also has a 15-cent extra for winter blend. At the last I checked, the diesel was running at $5.43 a gallon at this point. So this is on top of that.
Thank you, Councilor. Any discussion? All those in favor? 9-0. 25, vote to approve entering into a contract with Lead Group and Corp. Lead Salt for the provision of treated salt for the bid price of $91 per ton. Lead Salt is the lowest responsible and responsive bidder for the town of Oxford's fiscal year 27 treatment sodium chloride road salt cooperative bid. Allow the town manager to sign all related documents.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. This went through DBW as well.
We unanimously approved that one too, and we've been using Lead Salt via the Oxford bid for quite a few years now. So.
Yeah, it's just a cooperation between
Yep.
multiple towns
Yep.
that we do this through. What was the price? Mr. Town Manager?
Yeah, thank you. I'd just like to thank the town of Oxford for taking the lead in this. It is with these cooperative agreements such as Central Mass Regional Planning Commission, Oxford's cooperative bidding, French River, that we're able to cooperatively gather a bunch of towns with their purchasing power, and a lot of these times we are getting a better advantage than even the state contracts. So thank you for them for taking the lead on that.
Thank you, Mr. Town Manager. Any discussion? All those in favor? 9-0. 26, vote to amend the Town of Southbridge zoning bylaws with a temporary moratorium on the permitting, construction, and material expansion of data centers within the Town of Southbridge for a period of up to 12 months, with the option of up to 2 additional 180-day extensions subject to approval by the Town Council, to allow time for the comprehensive study of the infrastructure, environmental, land use, and public safety impacts associated with such facilities. Entertain a motion to Town Council for the approval on the referral of the proposed zoning bylaw amendment on the data center moratorium to the Planning Board pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, subsection 5, for review, public hearing, and recommendations to the Town Council.
So moved.
We have
Second.
a first and a second. This went through P&D. Councilor Day.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, we had a wonderful meeting last Thursday night regarding this item. People were able to speak, citizens, councilors, and former councilors. A lot was said, a lot needed to be said, and as a result, the subcommittee voted 4-0 to move this forward.
Thank you. Any other discussion on this whatsoever? All right. Councilor Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. I just want to say that I will be in support of this measure. This is for Southbridge, we're really dealing with a hypothetical issue at this time. However, it is an ongoing concern in many communities. I believe Westfield has brought this issue up and passed a moratorium not too long ago. This issue was originally, I think, brought to Council's attention by Councilor Klein, and it just makes a lot of sense to get ahead of the issue. Yeah, the issue being I think most people are very concerned about the AI data centers, which are extremely large and consume vast resources, tremendous draw on the energy grid, tremendous draw on water supplies. And many communities, especially in Virginia and Ohio, where most of these data facilities are, have experienced, in the local communities, experienced dramatic increases in energy bills, and their water supplies infrastructure have been real heavily taxed. So from what I understand, there are actually no such AI facilities currently operating in Massachusetts. However, there is one proposed out in Westfield, which the Westfield moratorium was designed to address, and it just makes a whole lot of sense to do the work and make sure that we have the zoning laws, zoning bylaws in place to address the situation if we ever have an applicant. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Lazo.
On P&D, I voted in favor of moving this forward as a motion. The thing I'm having a hard time with is I want the public to know the barn's not on fire. There was a gentleman from Charlton Street that asked, why are they asking Southbridge to do this? The clarification, I think John Daniels did it, was nobody's requesting right now a unit like this. Our zoning bylaws right now, if somebody came to town and said, I want to go pull a permit, there's a thing called 4.2 prohibited uses. And it says, any use not listed in the section 4.4, schedule of use table 1, or otherwise allowable under other provisions in the bylaw is prohibited. If they came in tomorrow, it's prohibited. He will not get a building permit. The thing is, I think getting out in front of this, I mean, there's a lot of 180 days, a year, and all this here. The people that are buying the AO probably will not take hold of it for probably a year because it's in bankruptcy court. The reason why I'm talking on this is because I was the chairman who handed off the issues that's going forward. The thing was, we had a P&D meeting and brought in the Lundgren Group, and John Daniels was the chairman. And what it was an icebreaker to vote on a Safe Streets grant for the bridge. Moving forward with that was showing that we want to be at the table with the new owners of the American Optical, so we can have input on what goes in there. That was the whole intent of what we were doing, was an in good faith attempt to get at the table with the Lundgren Group, because the previous group is bankrupt. I never believed in the group before, but this group seems to have the money, the knowledge, and I think if you partner up, we can agree what we want in town. And maybe we can work with them on what the Southbridge people need and want, and not so much industrial roller coaster come rolling through Southbridge. I would rather work with people than kill people. So I think going forward, I will probably, this is a long agenda item. I don't know if I'd make it as long as this, but I'm in favor of it. And if it was shortened, I'd be in favor of it. We need to do our homework on size, water, noise, electricity. I'm not for or against this. I don't know. So let's do our homework as a community. And I know that we have councils up here that will do their homework. And I know our planning board will put it in proper perspective. It's where it belongs. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Counselor. Anybody else? Oh, Counselor Montigny.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I'm in favor of putting this item, this isn't the moratorium, correct? This is to refer, Mr. Chairman, to the planning board so they can do things that they need to do, like make any recommendations, have a public hearing, and bring it back upstairs to town council if that's the way they decide to go. Okay. So, I don't know who wrote this agenda item, but it has 128 words, and I don't know, just from being in the town council with Councilor Kelly for a little while, and, you know, the lawyer and everything, perspective, I just think this might be a little bit a lot for, I'm gonna try to simple it like I offered last meeting. I'd like to make an amendment, vote to refer, let's just change this whole item. Vote to refer the proposed data center moratorium zoning bylaw as amended by Planning and Development Subcommittee to the Planning Board for review, public hearing, and recommendation pursuant to MGL Chapter 40A, Section 5. That's my amendment offering.
You got an amendment on the table?
Second for discussion.
Second for discussion? As you were. All those in favor for the amendment? Now discussion.
I just want to mention our planning board is going to carry the ball on this. With all the writing and everything that's here, 180, 12 months, if our planning board, which they are very expedient in my 3 years I was there, if they don't get this done in 1 year, I will be shocked. They're already working on different other things, and I think that the planning board can do this in a year. I mean, we can always go back if we have to extend it, but to put all this in here, it's almost like you're trying to control the planning board. I don't want to control the planning board. I think we give them the option, but I thought 1 year was plenty, and let them decide, let them go to work.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Kelly?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. So the intent of the proposed bylaw is just really, it's not to bind the planning board. In fact, I think the preamble to the actual bylaw says that. It's really to give them a starting point with this. So not to bind them at all. In fact, I'll state stating the intent for, at least in my view, is that we want the planning board to take a look at this, and their role is to make sure that whatever we do pass is compliant with Chapter 40A. All right, because I mean, we certainly don't want to go foul of Chapter 40A, which governs zoning in cities and towns. And they're also the subject matter experts on zoning. So it's, we're expecting them to take a good, long, hard look. What the bylaw, what the proposed bylaw really does is just give them a starting point, something to work with, and they can scrap the whole thing and bring something else up here if they want. Revise it however they see fit. But I don't think we're trying to bind the planning board with this proposal. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Klein?
I'll pass and let Counselor Steves.
Who is it? Counselor Steves?
Thank
Counselor
you,
Steves,
Mr.
go ahead.
Chairman. I would just want to say I wanted to say I agree with Councilor Kelly first of all, but secondly, I think that having the extra time might be necessary just so they can get all the full range of the information they need. Because among other things, this whole issue has environmental impacts, so I would think that conservation would want to weigh in at some point. It'll have impacts on the police and fire department, so they'll definitely want to weigh in at some point. And all of these things may take some serious time to do the homework. There's a lot of stuff already out there on data centers, and some of it's a little confusing. These are very complicated projects, and we really need to make sure we have the time to explore these issues in the detail that our town deserves. And I really do think that we as the council kind of need to be part of that public hearing process later, because we're the elected ones, whereas the planning board isn't. And I have nothing against the planning board, and I trust their experience, because they have a lot of it. But, this is, in some of these cases, some of these issues were some of the reasons why some of us got put up here. And I think that this is something that is one of those things where we kind of have to get it right first, because if we get it wrong, it really, really messes us up.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Klein?
For those people who didn't watch the P&D meeting last week, we're asking the planning board to conduct independent studies on the cumulative impacts of data center resource consumption on the local aquifer, municipal waterworks, electrical grid capacity, to develop comprehensive performance standards regarding multi-frequency sound emissions, low-frequency hum mitigation, visual screening, and architectural integration. Review and update the town master plan to ensure that future data sightings are confined to appropriate zoning overlays and to protect residential neighborhoods and natural resources. And formulate specific ratepayer and environmental protections to ensure that any future data center developments do not impose unfair fiscal burdens or resource degradation upon residents and businesses of the town. So I just want to point out, we're asking an awful lot. It's not doable, but these asks are time-consuming, and it is going to require the Conservation Committee, maybe the Board of Health, right? It's going to require work with the local utilities, right? And whether they want to put something in the AO, like they discussed on 521, and working with the cogen plant or running wires right from the telephone poles, and how that's going to impact residents and their electricity bills. So we are asking the planning board to do a lot of work, and the other boards in the town, The planning board is also currently working on doing a number of other bylaw revisions, and so I think at least 12 months with some sort of evidence-based information and allowing that, the two 180-day extensions is an appropriate time frame for this project, considering the potentially massive impacts it would have on our town.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Montague.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate you passing that amendment so quickly. Let the record show that was a very quick, let's vote on the amendment. All those in favor, we all raised our hands on that amendment, first and second, with no discussion, so thank you for that. I had some confusion on the way it was written. I know we don't have any data centers, but the draft says that prohibits the operation of any data center, and I just, again, from a legal standpoint, it's unlawful. You can't do that. I know we don't have any data centers here, but if it's meant to say, well, we mean new ones, and there's obviously not new ones in town, well, then just write new ones, Then, it says that they're not going to accept applications anymore for permits for a data center down at the building commissioner's office. And I don't think that you can actually, legally stop somebody from submitting an application. Putting it in as a pending application, it doesn't give away these person's rights. It's just a moratorium on the floor. Furthermore, there's dramatic claims everywhere saying that this data center demands are unique, unprecedented, accelerating. When previous speaker earlier, Councilor Kelly, said that there's not even an AI one in Massachusetts here yet. It's certainly written with a lot of, subjective material, not objective, and it's certainly written in a way that shows this moratorium is written to try to kill this data center, not really do what's best for Southbridge and do the research needed to see if this data center is good or bad, or what location could actually handle a few of the things and there still be this concern, or maybe this and that. So I just want to make sure that, we're all up here to do what's best for Southbridge citizens, and we're not trying to steer in a direction before we even answered the question, but there's a lot of other things on here. It starts talking about data center campuses. There's no definition for that. It's just, I give the language in here a D+, Mr. Chairman. I'm voting for it, though, because I can hear that the citizens want it to go down to the planning board, and I wholly support it, but just like this agenda item that we've 86th, I don't like the language. Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
So I just make point of clarification. I shouldn't ask for a vote after the amendment. At the first and second should have discussed it. So we're going to be asking for a vote on the amendment again after this.
Again.
Yep.
Very good.
Absolutely. Any other discussion? Councilor Klein.
Through you, Chair, I just want to point out to Councilor Montague, in case he didn't notice in the agenda package, there was an additional sheet that had a request to strike out where it says zoning cannot retroactively prohibit operation or shut down an existing business or interfere with vested rights.
Great, thank you.
Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Oh, yes, it's in the packet.
That's very good.
If you'd like, I can give you a copy.
No, I have it. I didn't.
One at a time.
Through you, Chair, I would also just like to point out for the audience and the people watching at home that the moratorium was drafted based on other successful moratoriums in the state of Massachusetts. And Councilor Kelly was kind enough to go through with his lawyerly skills and tighten it up for us. And again, the moratorium is in line with other moratoriums that have cleared the Attorney General's office and are now in effect. And one last thing that I want to point out, maybe Councilor Kelly can give some additional context. When he said that there are no AI large-scale data centers, that may be right, because I think the Lowell project with the Markley Group is currently on hold. But there are other data centers in Massachusetts that are up and running. There is one in Holyoke, and they've now created an entirely total ban. So those centers do exist out there, maybe not Colossus size, but they do exist.
You have my vote.
Thank you. Councilor Daniel.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, to you, can you please state again what the amendment is?
It's for the moratorium, referral down to the planning board. You want me to read it all over again?
I'd like the amendment.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It says, vote to refer the proposed data center moratorium zoning bylaw, in parentheses it says, as amended by Planning and Development Subcommittee, to the Planning Board for review, public hearing, and recommendation pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 5.
Okay, that's the amendment that we're supposed to be talking about.
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to address that, and which is that there's an old adage sometimes that says less is more. In this instance, I don't think less is more. As a result of the P&D meeting, I was impressed with the fact that there were so many citizens that were at the meeting that were interested in what was going on, and the fact that there's been a lot of talk about it, both constituents addressing emails and text messages to me, as well as social media, which we all kind of have to deal with nowadays. There's a lot of talk on it there as well. So I think that the agenda item as presented this evening, item number 26, is more appropriate because it expresses exactly what it is that we're trying to do. And I think that that's important for the citizens to see. I think it's important that we be as transparent as possible, and I will not be supporting the amendment.
Thank you. Any other discussion on this? Councilor Lazo?
I agree with Councilor Klein in reference to the environmental studies and all of this. When we go to the planning board and say the planning board gets it and says, well, we're going to make it a special permit. Okay, let's do it like, if we had a special permit, the contractor that's coming in with whatever they want will pay for the environmentals and present them, much like they did next door on 39 Elm. Let them pay for, and I hope that the planning board comes up with something that makes them pay for it, not us pay for it. So on a special granting permit, you will sit there and they will turn around and say, okay, what we're going to do is we need an environmental study. We need a water study. Do we have to pay for all of that once this goes through? Or
Point of order.
is this going to be
Go ahead,
paid?
state your point of order.
We're voting on Councilor Montague's
Amendment.
amendment.
Right.
I thought that was part of an amendment. I withdraw my conversation.
Thank you very much. Any other discussion
I'm not
on that?
allowed to speak.
Welcome to the club.
Excuse me, guys. Council?
Thank you. I think at the moment the process is kind of a little confused because we're both talking about both the amendment and the overall item, but it does seem like we're doing that at the moment. Anyway, I just wanted to point out regarding what Councilor Lazo just said, is I think that that we really do need to focus on. Never mind, I just lost what I was thinking. Anyway,
So,
if it comes back to me, I'll come back to it.
thank you.
But I
Stay
did
to
want
the
to-
amendment, guys.
I did want to say, yeah, I think I like, even though it's a little wordy, I think I will agree with what Councilor Daniel was saying, because it really does clearly state what we're trying to do. And it is our responsibility to do what the citizens want us to do, as much as we can. And I think that doing this necessary research is not, we're not talking about having the proposed developers of anything or the town pay for
Okay.
doing these kinds of planning.
Let's stick to the amendment
We
and
need
shorten it up.
We're doing the
Council.
homework for our good.
Council, let's stick to shorten it
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Council Montague.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't think that by changing the wording to this, we're like taking away of anything that we're actually doing. I do respect the previous councilor's opinions on this, but we're referring something to the planning board. We're not enacting a moratorium right now with 180 days, all this and all this other stuff. That's not happening. We're just sending something to the planning board. So I mean, like, we can have all these things in front of us and talk about them all night. And they're just superfluous to the whole thing, and much like the language in most of this moratorium. But I mean, when we take this vote, whether it's amended or not, it's going to accomplish what the citizens want. So that's why I'm voting for it, even though the whole thing is written so badly from top to bottom. But thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other discussion on this? One point that I'll put out there is that when we wrote this motion, we made sure that we had our lawyers take a look at this to make sure that we do our best and our due diligence to make sure that we do everything correctly. We wanted to make sure that we went through the right, proper Mass General Law, subsection, and everything else. That the referral was there, and that's how it came out. Once the lawyer came back, they said everything was fine with the motion itself. We moved forward with everything else, including some councilors were already working on the bylaw itself. So at that point in time, we moved forward with it. Wouldn't have gone forward if they thought we needed to change anything up. or if we needed to change it up to make sure it's proper, or if it's shorter, or it needed to be longer, whatever it may be. We ensured that the transparency was there. Not my real issue if other counselors feel a need to say that it's wrong or whatever it may be. We're making sure that the people that we pay high dollar value to our lawyers, ensure that it's correct and that we can move forward with this. On that note, all those in favor of the amendment? All those opposed? 2-7, motion fails. Our amendment fails. Back to the main motion. Do I need to read it again? I'm sure some of you would like to hear it. Any discussion on that? Yes.
I was out of order under the amendment, and I just, in the bio of this writing, saying that we have to go to this board, that board, get experts in to find out if we want I don't think the planning board's going to do that, to eliminate something. I think they're going to leave it up and leave it open for a point of information, that they'll leave it where they'll make it something that they can work with going forward, where the person that's applying does the proof to the town, where we don't pay for it. That's the only reason I brought that up. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor
I'd like to
Steves, on the motion.
Follow up on that particular point, Councilor Lazo. I think one of the issues is that when you have the proponents pay for it, you are reliant on whatever their contractors give you. We want to do this for our people, so that we got enough detail that we know what the impact is actually going to be on our town, not on their bottom dollar.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Just want to make note, there's a requirement to submit this down to the planning board. Planning board is required to do their due diligence and bring it forward to the community. A certain period of time, you will have to have a public hearing from from both the town planning and the town council, or one public hearing at the same time.
Right.
Now, when it came to any other discussion on that? Just want to thank, first of all, a lot of the residents, and we're all residents up here too, just as much as you are out there, that we brought this forward. Talked about it a long time ago, talked about it recently, and I'm glad the residents are so involved and asked questions and asked us to move forward with the moratorium. Absolutely. I want to thank Councilor Klein for providing us the boilerplate from Westfield and giving us some guidance on where she thought it was needed to go at that point in time. I thank her for that. Councilor Kelly, who turned around and put his lawyer hat on and took a look at that and rewrote some of this bylaw itself, or recommended rough draft bylaw. So the planning board can go back and make changes where they need to make changes. Town manager and his staff for doing what they're supposed to do as far as providing the planner and all that kind of stuff at our one local meeting, just to make sure we're on the same sheet of music before we move forward. And this is going to take multiple agencies to take a look at, and we expect and we hope that the public will be part of that process as well, all the way through. Any other discussion before we vote on the motion itself? All those in favor? Opposed? 9-0. All right, 27, Councilors Forum. Councilor Montigny.
Nothing tonight, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Councilor Steves.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've got a couple of things. First off, I just want to mention that the concerts in the Common are supposed to wrap up on this coming Sunday with BZ Jane and the Hurricane, which is a folk, blues, and country influenced band. That's at the Common at 6. Also, I just wanted to mention that there's I really think that I've been talking to a couple of people in the community, and especially where I work, honestly, about the need for some town efforts to create an emergency shelter, because there are people in our town, in our very town, who are homeless or just about to be homeless, as we all know. And we should be doing something about it, because they are our citizens as well. Whether or not they vote, they are still our citizens. So I would like to see if we can start doing something toward that. I don't know exactly what our available spaces might be, but I know we have some buildings that we might be able to do something with if we possibly could. I don't know if the town manager would have an available list of currently town-owned buildings that might possibly be used for something like that.
I can certainly get that to you.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, that,
Go ahead.
I realize it's not
I mean,
to
that
be
is a
immediate.
huge conversation.
I know.
Because it's
I
going to go
recognize
to, I understand the need.
Right.
And actually, we are working with other agencies as well. Wellstorm and other agencies are looking at emergency shelters.
Mm-hmm.
So we have had conversations with that, but the larger conversation is going to be, how do you fund it and
Oh, I
how
get
do you
that.
sustain it?
Yeah.
But it's worthy of a conversation.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, and the last item I had is something that you might remember back toward the end of the last council cycle, I and Maureen filed open meeting law complaints against the then sitting council. Maureen got hers back, and the Attorney General agreed with Maureen. I haven't seen mine yet, but I assume it will say more or less the same thing. And I just thought I'd point it out because what they specifically talked about is the last sentence here, a part of it. The council did not discuss the remaining changes proposed by the committee, specifically Councilor Montigny's Charter Review Committee. Following discussion, the council voted to refer all 5 proposed changes to the General Government Subcommittee, which, by the way, should be back on our agenda since technically it starts now. I just wanted to point out that the open meeting, sorry, let me skip down to this one. The conclusion is that we find that the council violated the open meeting law where it discussed recommended changes to the charter that were not described with sufficient specificity in the meeting notice. We order immediate and future compliance with the open meeting law. Now consider the complaint addressed by this determination to be resolved. This determination does not address any other complaints that may be pending with the council or with our office. So I just thought I'd let people know about that. Thank you.
Mr. Town Manager.
A couple, just a response. One, just a point of clarification, concerts in common, there will be an additional concert
Okay.
on the 19th to make up for one of the concerts that's been booked throughout town. Councilor Steves is correct. I did not have an opportunity to read the whole brief. It came in late this afternoon, forwarded by our legal counsel. Said, importantly, however, the letter of determination does not require the town council to take any particular action in response. So, it's interesting, I wasn't going to mention it, but since Councilor Steves brought this up, when the question came from one of the previous speakers relative to specificity in the agenda items, we can all agree to disagree, but that's why I didn't comment about the fact that this was very, very specific, so people know what's going on. I will discuss whether we decide to appeal this. My inclination is not to appeal it because it just costs a lot of money, hence why we set forward the open meeting law training and records retention, guidance, and training. So I think we're ahead of the curve. However, it did not direct us. It just said further compliance with the open meeting law. I'll just leave it at that. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Chairman.
Mr. Town Manager. Do you have anything else, Council?
No, that's it.
That's all. Councilor Grenier?
Nothing tonight.
Thank you. Councilor Provost?
Just one thing, Chairman. Thank you, Sharon, for coming back.
You're welcome.
Councilor Klein?
Same. Thank you, Sharon, Thank for you, coming Sharon. back. I'm so happy to hear that. On July 31st, Chairman Adams, Vice Chairman Kelly, Chairwoman Davison, and Vice Chairwoman Dela Cruz Davila, Town Manager Jack Joven, the Receiver Superintendent, Mr. Metzger, and I met with Assistant Deputy Commissioner Lauren Wu and Juan Rodriguez from the Department of Elementary, Secondary, and Education. It was a positive and informal check-in focused on introductions and a recap of progress to date. Chairman Davison will be providing additional updates in the near future regarding capacity work and progression of the receivership phases. I'm looking forward to working with this team as we continue to make progress towards transitioning back to local control. Some of our teachers and staff actually started work today, and I'd like to welcome all of our teachers and school staff back for a new year. What our teachers do for the students truly matters, and it makes a real difference for our kids and for our community. As we start the new year, I'm looking forward to supporting you and celebrating great things ahead, and thank you to all the teachers and staff for everything that they do, and welcome back. On Friday, Representative John Marcy made us aware that Southbridge Public Schools was awarded 2 grants. Prism 2 and Prism 3. The total grant value is $575,168, and that grant money will be used for resources targeting coaching and professional learning to support to elevate, select, purchase, launch, implement high-quality instructional materials. So that was a great win for our town. I stopped by Cops and Kids Summer Program last Thursday. Unfortunately, I did not get to participate in the slip and slide because I had to get back to work, but it was great to see the kids so engaged, and Chief Whitson, Deputy Chief Jose Dingy have really built something special with this program. The support that it gives to kids is really not measurable. It's really a wonderful thing to see. I'd also like to thank Katie for her efforts for the town takeover day at Puller Park. That was a really fun event, and I really enjoyed participating in it. And thank you to my fellow councilors for supporting the moratorium. I think that's a very important issue facing our town. That's it.
Thank you. Councilor Daniel?
I'm all set this evening, thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Lazo?
I got a couple of things. I'd just like to say there's a meeting on the animal-controlled cattle on 8/27/26, 6 a.m. in the town hall.
6 p.m.
Veterans Room.
6 a.m.?
Excuse me, p.m. At the Veterans Room. We're going into the process of the numbers that have been plugged in are like off, and we will be looking at those numbers and hopefully work on a bid document to get some real solid numbers on that. The Rios Park, just would like to report the generosity on this community project. DePietro Masonry installed the doors to the girls' room, boys' room. Splain is installing the Versalock wall to hold up the area with a little track for the tykes. The Southbridge Tire donated a stone for the project. Kamasi Masonry made a substantial donation on the Versalock blocks. The furniture, the recreation furniture, slides and everything have been ordered by the Rios family. I would just like to say Peg Dean has done a fantastic job helping on this project. A lot of the some of the groups that are helping, it's just one big community poll. And it's all going to be dedicated to a gentleman that died at a very young age, Mr. and Mrs. Rios' son. And that's going to be an interesting park for youngsters. It really is going to be nice, something that Southbridge needs for the younger group. And in closing, I'd just like to say, Sharon, welcome back.
Thank you, Scott.
In working with you the past 2 or 3 years, you've done a fantastic job. And I think welcome back, and we're looking forward to working with you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Hold on a second. Mr. Town Manager?
Through you, just to the previous speaker, just a point of clarification, we'll probably change the room because I just realized, and just to announce also, early voting for the state primary will begin on August 22nd, Saturday, from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's also your last day to register to vote until 5 p.m. And then early voting will be here in the town hall, usually conducted in the Veterans Room. So we'll have to move that meeting, but it will be in the town hall. We'll make sure we post it. But early voting will continue the week of August 24th during normal town hall hours and conclude Friday, August 28th at noontime. So that will be the early voting. So the week of August 24th, first day, August 22nd, Saturday, 8 to 2. The following week, normal town hall hours for early voting for the state primary, which will be held on September 1st. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Very well. Thank you. Councilor Kelly?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. I'd just like to say that I did, as the chairman indicated earlier, we had a meeting with DESE and the school department, including the receiver, the chair and vice chair of the school committee, Councilor Klein, and representatives of both Senator Fatman and Representative Marcy, as well as representatives of DESE. And it was a very productive meeting. I am quite looking forward to working with them going forward. I think we're all on the same page about getting our schools out of receivership and returned to town control. That is a process. It's not going to happen overnight, but we're very well on the path. I believe DESI believes that as well, based on that meeting. But I thought it was a very productive meeting. I'm looking forward to a very, very productive working relationship with both the school department and DESI going forward. Town takeover, it was great. A lot of town officials were there. Many members of the council, many members of the school committee, the town manager. And I will say, as an example of how the relationship between the schools and the town has changed, the superintendent, Mr. Metzger, was also there. And that has not happened, that would not have happened in the past since receivership. The school is making a real effort, the school department is making a real effort to be part of the town again, and support those efforts. But overall, the town takeover was a great success. I saw a lot of town people there. Thank the senior center for bringing a busload of seniors up there based on, I believe we got some donations that they used for, they got some donations that they used to buy the tickets. But it was a really great event. Next year, they do this almost every year, or they do it every year, and next year I hope we even see more Southbridge residents there. I would like to make a comment again, and this will be hopefully my last comment on data centers for a little while. I just want to go back to that P&D meeting on May 21st, 2026, and the reason I want to go back to this is because, quite honestly, I don't really follow social media. And so I don't get on it too often. But I did get on it, and I was watching, especially during this debate, I was watching a lot of the comments, and I really was unimpressed with the amount of bad information that was out there. I saw a lot of comments about Lundgren Equity Partners and really trying to paint them in a very negative light, which I think is unwarranted. This meeting back on May 21st, which I did not attend, by the way. I'll be honest with you. I did not attend that meeting. I could not attend that meeting. However, I did watch it. And when this whole issue came up and they mentioned this meeting, I was like, because I had watched it afterwards, and I was like, I don't remember that. So I went back and I watched the meeting again. Lundgren Equity Partners came to us because they wanted us to co-apply for a one-step application for grants, based mainly to address infrastructure issues. They already own a building over there, and they have tenants in that building. Now, when the Southbridge Innovation Center went into receivership, went into bankruptcy, as it's been coming out, they made a bid and actually were, I believe, awarded virtually all the buildings and the property over at the Southbridge Innovation Center. So there are some significant infrastructure issues over there, mainly with the bridges, primarily with the bridges. And they asked us to support a one-step application, which we did. The council voted on it, and I believe it was unanimous. That presentation that they made to the P&D board was over 1 hour and 15 minutes. Over 1 hour and 15 minutes. They started at 1 minute and 10 seconds into the meeting. they started their presentation, and they ended their session at 1 hour and 18 minutes into the meeting. During that meeting, they explained what their company did. And quite honestly, I recommend that anybody go back and take a look at that meeting and listen to the whole thing, because it's quite an impressive group as a business goes. I think we hear the term equity these days and we think very negatively. But this organization owns 50 properties. One of the partners is Lundgren from the car dealership. They buy these buildings, they refurbish the buildings, and they bring tenants into the buildings, and they hold the buildings long term. I think that's exactly what we need over at the Innovation Center. Exactly. Now, what everybody got excited about, apparently, is a comment that Mr. Tyler Atkins made, who was a partner and one of the partners and was making the presentation. And he was saying that they had already were looking to try to find tenants for the buildings that they intended to purchase through the bankruptcy. And I'm going to quote what he said. And he said, we've engaged with data centers, life science companies, other industrial users, and that's our bread and butter, finding industrial tenants, really. Industrial can be light manufacturing, it can be life sciences, it can be warehousing. That is the only time in 1 hour and 18 minutes that the word data center was mentioned. Okay, so they had no plans to bring a data center in. They made it was a list of things that they've done. Whether or not that facility would even support a hyperscale data center is pretty doubtful, but nevertheless, I just want to try to clear the record, because what the information I've seen on social media is just plain wrong. Just plain wrong. And look, I 100% agree that people should speak up, all right? And I think this is a good issue to speak up on, all right? But please, all right, please do your homework, all right? Everything you see on Facebook is not true. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Agenda item number 28, discussion of next meeting dates.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our next meeting we'll have a public hearing for a dangerous dog complaint on Monday, August 24th, 2026 at 6 p.m. That will be followed by a town council meeting on Monday, August 24th, 2026 at 7 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We may end up having an executive session meeting too that evening. Agenda item number 29, vote for adjournment.
Second.
Well, discussion, all those in favor? Adjourned.